Hi there, and welcome to Blogger Tech Tips by Annie Richardson Consulting. Today we're going to be going through Siteground hosting, installation, and setup. Let's get started. When you first get to siteground.com, you're going to see the web hosting platform. There are several options you have to choose from. Reliable web hosting is just if you're going to have a regular website, you would click there. WordPress hosting, which we'll come back to in a minute. WooCommerce hosting, and cloud hosting. We are going to click the one underneath the WordPress hosting, and it says Get Started. The next screen that you're going to see is going to give you the options of the type of hosting that you want. Depending on the size of your website and the speed that is required for you, how many visitors you have, things like that, is going to depend on where you're at. Most of us start out at the startup or the grow big. You can see it's $3.95 a month and $5.95 a month at this time, at the time of this recording. Keep in mind that that is a yearly amount, so you got to do $3.95 times 12 or $5.95 times 12, and they're going to charge you that up front. If you want to go month to month, it's like $11.95 a month or $19.95 a month. It's up to you. If you have only one website, the startup is going to be just fine for you. You'll run out of space if you do a lot of videos unless they're hosted elsewhere. You will also run out of space if you have a lot of posts that have pictures and things like that. It is only for about less than 10,000 visits monthly. So if you have over that, then you already know you're going to have to go to the next section. I highly recommend that you actually start with the Grow Big. In the event that your blog is more than just a hobby blog, if you ever want to actually be able to monetize and make money and do opt-ins and all of those things, I recommend that you go with the Go Big. I think that it will serve you for a year or so without having to change up at that time. The Go Geek, of course, is unlimited websites, 30 gig web space, and around 100,000 visits a month. Keep in mind, if your visitors are over 100,000 a month, you're going to have to go with a different hosting provider anyway. This is all for Siteground. There's another video that I'm doing that is for fast comment, and you can read about the actual comparisons between all of them at the website. So you can find all of the comparisons and the notes for all of the different hosting services at our website at https://AnnieRichardsonConsulting.com, and I will put the exact web address in the show notes here to the post for your convenience. So after you have clicked Get Plan, you'll be taken to step 2 to choose your domain. You probably will want to register a new domain if you don't already have one. If you have concerns about whether or not you want to do a new domain or an existing domain, go back and read the post about before you start a blog on the website, and I'll put that link as well into the show notes here. So after you click, let's go with register a domain, then you're going to type in the name of your blog or the name you want for your blog. And it's going to tell you that the domain registration is $15.95 a year. While you can find cheaper domain registrations, be very careful. For example, GoDaddy may charge you $3.95 for the domain registration, but next year when it's time to renew it, it may be $33.95. So I recommend just going with whichever one you're using. Don't get me wrong, I have several domains that are registered at GoDaddy. But any domain that I intend to keep forever and ever type thing, I tend to register with the hosting company that I'm using. Fast Comet has some pretty neat stuff right now to where they're offering free domains. So you might want to check out that video as well. Once you have typed in your domain name and you click proceed, if that domain is not taken, then of course they're going to take you to the next step. If it comes up with an error, you need to go back a few steps and make sure that domain name is actually available. So you're going to enter the right domain name and click proceed. On the next page is where you're going to choose the period of time that you want to do your hosting. As I stated, it could be 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, or just 1 month at a time. Be very careful. If you only do 1 month at a time, they're going to charge you $14.95 setup. To be honest with you, going 12 months is not that much more expensive. This is going to include your domain registration. It does not include your domain privacy or your SG site scanner exactly. So as you can see, I've chosen 12 months on this, and the total is going to be $63.35. You will also need to click the boxes for I confirm that I have read and agree to the terms of service and privacy, as well as whether or not you want to receive news and special offers by email. In this section is where you're going to put all of your pertinent information. I highly recommend that you print this page out once you have typed in all of your information. The reason is it's hard to remember what email you may have used, as well as your password. Although your password on the screen is going to show up as asterisk, you can certainly write those in and put them somewhere safe. So you're going to want to put in your first name, your last name, your company name if you have an LLC or a DBA, that will be important there. And then, of course, your city, state, address, zip code, and phone number. And then your card number, as well as the expiration date, the CVV code, and the name of the card holder. And of course, this page is just the confirmation, double checking that it is going to be the 12 months or whatever you've chosen there, that it does include the domain registration. For now, don't worry about domain privacy or the SG site scanner. Make sure that both boxes are check marked, or at least the top one, and then click Pay Now. Now you're going to receive your confirmation that your account has been successfully created. At this point, you're going to start your hosting account setup. You'll have a couple of options here. What we're going to do is start a new website, but you do have the option of transferring a website if you wish, or don't need help. That means you're an expert. I don't recommend that. You'll also have some enhancements that you can choose. For the moment, we're not going to choose any enhancements. After we've chosen Start a New Website, we have some options there as well. You're going to want to choose WordPress in this instance. And then we'll start the WordPress installation. It's going to ask you for an admin email, a username, and a password. Don't make this too easy to figure out. This really needs to be something besides just your name. And a little bitty password. So I highly recommend you use something besides admin. I highly recommend you use a password that is at least strong enough to have one special character, like an asterisk, a question mark, a slash, something like that, and at least one number. I know those are hard to remember, but it's really safer for your website. For an admin email, my recommendation is to create a special email account just for that, and we can work on that shortly. At the moment, just use any email you have, and we can change that a little bit later on. In this next section, it's going to ask you if you want to enhance your account. That is things like domain privacy and the SG Site Scanner. I don't recommend either of those at this time. You can always add them later, but for now, there are other plugins that you can use that will help you with those things and don't cost you anything at the moment. So next, you're basically going to get a confirmation page that says setup. You've requested to install WordPress on your account, and you've requested no enhancements. You're going to want to check the checkbox and check the box that says complete setup. And that should take you on to the next step. The next thing you're going to see is that it is processing your setup, and that may take a minute or two. And finally, it's going to show that your hosting account is ready to use. The next screen that you're going to see is basically your home screen. There will be several things that we're going to go through here, but it's basically giving you just your home screen that shows home, my accounts, support, billing, referral deals, ad services, and perks across the top on the tabs. In the right hand corner, it should say your name or whatever you logged on with, and you can press my details to get further details. So let's start with the tab that says my account. What you're going to look at first is the very top area that says the name of your website address. You will see a red button called cPanel, a button that says renew, and a button that says upgrade. There are a lot of information down through here. It does show that there is a WordPress set up on this blog. You can tell that by the W right in front of the HTTP, right? You've got an option to go to the admin panel. The difference in those two, let me explain very quickly. The difference in those two, cPanel is where you're going to go to do things like email setup. If you're ever asked to set up DNS settings or anything pertaining to your actual hosting is done through cPanel. Anything that is actually done for WordPress is done in your admin panel. So hosting is cPanel, WordPress is admin panel. And for now, that's the two that you need to be concerned with. You would get a series of emails at this point. One is going to be the order details. You're going to get a welcome. You're going to get one that says for you to launch your user panel. There'll be a domain service notice. And then there will be something for you to confirm. And after you have confirmed it, then you will get the verification that it has been confirmed. And you will get an email confirming that as well. The last thing you're going to get is the domain service notice. And that has to do with setting your data consent privileges. And basically, that is because of your hosting account, and they are holding your privacy data and security for your actual domain name. That's a standard thing. Don't hesitate to agree to it. You can certainly read it if you want, but it is normal. And it's basically just a consent to apply to all the domains that you register with this particular company, and it's called a 2COWS. And you can read all about it at the email will tell you where to go to read all about it. And that concludes the basic setup for our WordPress on Siteground. In the next video, we're going to talk about setting up your domain email, changing your domain login, and creating our first post. This has been Blogger Tech Tips by Annie Richardson Consulting, https://AnnieRichardsonConsulting.com. Until next time, happy blogging.